There is hope. It is full time at the Peter Makaba Stadium. It is Lesotho 1, Nigeria 2. What it means for Nigeria is that there is hope going to the final World Cup qualifiers. It will be matchday 10 hope as we play host to the Leopards of Benin at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium. Elsewhere, it was South Africa at the Moses Madiba Stadium in Durban, South Africa. It ended Zimbabwe 0, South Africa 0. Automatically puts Nigeria in a good position to still, well, not good position, but still with a chance to reach the World Cup. Otumba joins me as we, of course, review what has just transpired in a crazy Group C fixture. You know, extremely crazy. But first, in Faraway Polokwane, was Lesotho 1, Nigeria 2. Ako Adams with a winning goal. Plenty of errors. We kept moving the ball. But what was important is we got the 3 points.
Yes, maximum points gotten, but not a totally convincing performance by the Super Eagles. I think I was particularly disappointed with Stanley Nwabali's performance today. For me, it was a 2/10.
I think Stanley Nwabali is a time bomb waiting to happen to the Super Eagles.
Absolutely, because
he's been doing it for a while.
Anger issues, his game management is below par. It's something that brings to the question how professional is this lad that plays for Chippa United. The truth is, I watched the game between Ghana and Central African Republic. I also saw the highlight of Ivory Coast against Seychelles, and I asked myself, why can't the Super Eagles also beat Lesotho convincingly like Ghana and Ivory Coast did, our West African rivals? It brings to question the tactical acumen of the coach in charge of the team. It brings into question the commitment of the players, because for me, I'm not sure they are putting in so much effort as far as their quest to qualify for this World Cup. For me as a person, I've got nothing to lose. I will put on my TV, I will watch proceedings of the 2026 World Cup, but their own careers are at stake, because if they miss out on this particular World Cup, the chances are that they might never play in the World Cup. Many of them might never play in the World Cup when you consider their age. So it wasn't a totally convincing performance by the Super Eagles. But all hope is not lost. We'll still have a good chance of qualifying for the World Cup with the game coming up on Tuesday at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium against our younger sisters, like I always call them, Benin Republic. I just hope that the Super Eagles will be able to conquer the Leopards on Tuesday.
Well, the Eagles must conquer the Leopards. I will tell you how the Eagles can qualify for the World Cup. In the last video, I explained how we can still be in contention, but right now, I will give you how the Eagles will qualify for the World Cup just before we end. But guy, 2-1, not convincing individual performance. Ademola Lookman is now obviously out of the Benin Republic game. Below performance for him. Tolu Arokodare was absolutely a passenger. Wilfred Ndidi got into the game in the second half. Moses Simon also got into the game in the second half. We saw shakiness from Ekong. Fantastic line in Benjamin Frederick. I think Bruno also did well for himself today. Did the right things. But overall, good one off the bench also for Ako Adams. But was it really a dominant performance by Eagles players, or we need to do more?
I think they can do better than what they did. The talents are there, but for me, I feel that they didn't scratch the surface as far as the talent that we've got in the Super Eagles ranks is anything to go by. Because how do you explain the fact that players that play in mainstream Europe struggle to hold their own against the Lesotho players that plays for clubs that we don't even know, that Wikipedia will even struggle to give us their profiles. So it wasn't a totally convincing performance, and I feel that it's calls into question the tactical input of Coach Eric Sekuchel, because we struggled all through that game. They at some point they were forcing the game. For the bright spark as far as this game that we'll just watch is anything to go by, it has to be Benjamin Frederick and Bruno Oyemachi, who I'll give both of them maybe a 7/10. Not totally convincing, but it wasn't totally bad. They rank way above the rest of the guys. Someone like Wilfred Ndidi, he stepped up at some point in the game. I will give him a 5/10, but we could have done better than we did. If what we watched a couple of minutes ago is anything to go by, not so many will be convinced that we stand a good chance of getting a good result against the Beninois side come Tuesday.
Well, of course, talking about the Beninois, they got a massive win. Of course, against a side that we're still in contention. Talking about Rwanda, but of course, officially over for Rwanda. It ended at the Amahoro Stadium in Kigali. Rwanda knew, Benin Republic won. A result that automatically sent Rwanda out of the World Cup qualification race and sent Benin one step closer to reaching the World Cup.
Yes, it's always good to dare to dream. I remember during the watch along of the Lesotho Nigeria game, I said it that it's always good to dream. Togo did it in 2006. Who says Benin Republic, who are also their neighbors, cannot do it? Now they are within touching distance of qualification for a major tournament like the World Cup. I think a 2 weeks national holiday would be declared if they eventually get that qualification in the bag. But I will say God forbid, and I'm sure many of the viewers watching this video will also say God forbid to that, because it will not speak well for the giant of Africa, the acclaimed giant of Africa, to miss back-to-back World Cup, and a World Cup that Africa has the opportunity of having 9 representatives, and Nigeria will not be there. I think it will be very, very terrible if we miss out on this particular one. But I just hope that the Super Eagles will get their acts together come Tuesday, and they will give us that result that will make most Nigerians go wild in major cities of Nigeria. Well,
we'll wait to see how that one will pan out. But South Africa, goalless draw at home against Zimbabwe. That's how I want to call it.
Yes.
Moses Madiba Stadium. Surprise. Shocking.
The Zimbabweans were actually brave in that particular encounter.
Despite the record to Knowledge Mosunda.
Yes, both sides had to finish the game with 10 men. I feel that the Zimbabweans actually they will celebrate that 1 point, despite the fact that it takes them nowhere. But it shows that a serious team can actually get a good result regardless of the location of where the game is played, be it at home or away. If Zimbabwe can hold their own against South Africa right there in Durban, who says it brings to question why Nigeria has failed vehemently to get good results away from home. We saw Ghana do it against a Central African Republic, despite the fact that the game was played at a neutral ground in somewhere in Uja, Morocco. We saw Clinica at the Ivorians, were current AFCON champions, taking out Seychelles by 7 goals to nothing. So the Nigerian team needs to step up. We know that the talents are there, but come on. How do you explain the fact that they struggled against a Lesotho side? It's actually unfortunate that we have to talk about this.
Well, Eric Sekuchel, I don't know, but it looks like the Eagles need a helper. And Chel might not be just that helper. Again, I saw the Eagles play in the first 45 minutes. It looked like Chel was awful. His substitution also did not, except Akko Adams, to be honest. Substitution did not inspire confidence. Of course, Chukwueze was expected to come off the bench. It looked like the moment Simi Ajayi came in, it destabilized his defense line a bit. I always believe that the best way to defend is to add more bodies to the midfield and not choke a centre-back pairing that already had a name. So if you're going to put in a defender, you throw him to the midfield and add more body to the midfield. But is Eric Sekuchel putting any input in these Eagles?
Well, he's doing his bit. But personally, I just feel that the weakest link as far as the Super Eagles setup is concerned has to be the midfield. I think we've been struggling, we've
known that for years.
We've been struggling to have some kind of consistency and have some kind of creativity in that middle of the park. Since the retirement of Austin JJ Okocha, many players have come and they've been more or less like pretenders to the throne. Wilson Oruma, Christian Obodo, so many guys have come, but we found it difficult to actually replace Austin JJ Okocha. We saw today Alex Iwobi, he did his beat.
I think
flashes of brilliance.
Alex Iwobi played a defensive midfielder,
Yeah.
central midfielder, attacking midfielder. Come on, give the man some break.
Yes, I think he deserves his flowers. He did a very good job today, even though I feel that what we see of him in the shirt of Fulham is way higher than what we saw of him today. And I feel he can do much better. What made this whole thing look like this was the injuries. If I'm to say that, the injuries to the likes of Raphael Onyedika.
It's not like he comes to the national team and starts.
And
He's on the bench.
Fisayo Dele Bashiru, who both those two guys, for me, if they are fully fit, should be getting starting berths in the Super Eagles.
Well, as it stands, the Super Eagles are still third in Group C, but the Eagles have moved to 14 points. Now, Benin Republic lead the group with 17 points after 9 games. South Africa second with 15 points. Now, this is how the Eagles can still qualify for the World Cup. And the Eagles can qualify for the World Cup if these two scenarios first happen. 1, South Africa must fail to pick maximum points in their final game against a Rwanda side that have already crashed out. That's a must. And then the Super Eagles must beat Benin Republic by 2 or more goals margin to stand a chance to reach the World Cup. Now, if the Eagles beat Benin Republic by a goal to nil, and South Africa fails to win, Benin Republic will go to the World Cup with a superior goal difference. It will now mean Nigeria will finish second. Yes. And the second position will mean that we will now wait until all of the plus and minus are done in the teams that are finished second to see if we are able to go to the playoff. Already Zimbabwe will finish bottom. So if Nigeria do finish second, only 2 points can be taken away from Nigeria because we only got 2 points from South Africa, from Zimbabwe rather. All hope are not lost yet for the Super Eagles. They can still make it to the World Cup, but there's still an if. The big talking point will be, will South Africa drop point against a Rwanda side that have crashed out already? Can this Super Eagles side, who struggled to beat Lesotho, score 2 or more goals against Benin Republic? And the answers to all of these will be at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium on Tuesday, and in South Africa when the Bafana play host to Rwanda. Will the Eagles be there? We can only keep our fingers crossed. Football Temple brought to you by Azar Studios.